Good morning. My name is Michael R. Roser, and I am co-founder of Strategic Life Coaching, LLC. Please visit us at our website at abundantlifeslc.com. Glad to be with all of you this morning, getting through all of this craziness. And I wanted to talk this morning about the difference between saying I'm sorry and making an amend to somebody. And as I've been following this spiritual path that I've been on for the last 2 years plus, this has been very important to me. And it's something I had to look at very carefully. It occurred to me as I was, on this journey that I had said I was sorry for things that I had done, behaviors and actions in my past that I was very regretful for, very guilty of, and even at my worst, shameful of. And as part of this process that I've been going through, I took a look at myself, root and stem, and branch, and began to see and alleviate, frankly, some patterns in my life that were causing me to have to say I'm sorry repeatedly. And what I found in those patterns was they were the same actions and behaviors that I was saying I was sorry for. Retrenching, imploring more self-will in order to try, for example, to stop drinking, being angry, finding myself resentful at things that had happened to me in the past, 10, 20, 30 years ago that I was still reliving as if they had happened and occurred just minutes prior. And it was really a lousy place to be. And during this process, there's a step in the program, 8 and 9, that talks about making amends to people. And as I was working with my sponsor on this, I actually looked up the word amend, and it's very different than sorry or regretful or any of the other words I could come up with this morning. And if you use it in terms of the U.S. Constitution, when that document was amended, and it has several times, the document itself is forever changed. It's not the same as it was prior to the amendment. Those amendments hopefully have made the document better going forward, and I believe that it has. And so I wanted exactly the same thing in my life. And so when I looked at those patterns of those behaviors and actions, I started to look at what were the thoughts behind them. And again, the epiphany that I had is the same person is going to behave and act in the same way that person has always behaved and acted. And so what were the thoughts that were coming in, and what did I need to change in those thoughts in order to perhaps act out and behave differently? And so in doing that full assessment of myself and what we call a moral inventory of ourselves, a fearless moral inventory, then denoting looking at it accurately with somebody else without my same filters, I was able to really do some heavy lifting with regard to that, and found those patterns, and then was able to start taking a step back and pausing as to what were those initial thoughts, or what we refer to as triggers, that were putting me in those positions to act and behave exactly how I acted and behaved in the past. So when I started to get to the part of the process where I was writing names down and asking to make amends to people, that conversation was very different than it had been in the past. I was going to somebody, and hopefully they had noticed some change in me themselves, that I wasn't the same anxious, depressed, chaotic person that I had been in the past, that I was bringing to that amend meeting with some peace and serenity and some calmness that I had not possessed in the past. And they could see that, and that helped the situation immensely, because then I was able to say to them that this person that you're seeing right now is wanting to make a vow to you to not return to the old document prior to the amendment. So this work that I've done on myself to try to be a better person, to try to be more loving and compassionate and tolerant, I vow to you to continue to make that amend with regard to our relationship. And believe me when I tell you that this is difficult, and it's difficult for a couple of reasons. Number one is there's a trust factor involved. And because I had said I was sorry to friends and family, business partners, clergy before, there was a trust factor of, well, we've seen this before, and is this sustainable? And for me, internally, I knew it was sustainable because I was coming at it from a much different spot. And also, you have to recognize, at least I did very humbly, that the people that I was going to perhaps are not on the same spiritual journey that I am on, and perhaps they did some things to me that also were very hurtful and harmful. And I had to let all of that be set aside. First of all, I had to forgive myself, and then I had to be willing to forgive other people for anything that they had done to me. But the most part, and the most critical part for me, was going to them and saying that I was on a process, a spiritual path of change, and I was hoping to bring that change to our relationship going forward, and that I was not going to be the person that I was in the past. One very dear person to me, my former longtime business assistant, said to me, "Michael, this is awesome. I can see the change in you. I can't forget the things that you did to me in the past, but I can certainly forgive you for them." And I don't think anybody, in all of the people that I have gone to in this amends process, summed it up and stated it any better than that. What more could I ask for? And so today, each day I get up, I try to stay connected to this change, to stay connected to controlling the way that I'm thinking and the way that I'm approaching. And I can tell you, I can promise you actually, that over time, doing this and working very hard at it, your thoughts do change, your outlook on things does change, you're much more at peace and much more able to be joyous and abundant. And that is, for me, why I continue to do this on a daily basis. Hopefully that is helpful to all of you. It is my sincere hope that it was. Thank you, and have a great day. Bye now.